really in support of us who have had democratic rights removed from us. So I guess I'd unofficially like to say thanks for your support.
Are there any more questions?
I think I'm pretty much set.
I'd like to thank everybody.
I was going to ask, what opportunities are you concerned about with everything that's going on?
I'm concerned about the lack of opportunities in general that our school is having. For example, just on a completely different note, our cafeteria is closing. And to me, that was just a high school without a cafeteria. Like, that's just weird. And then not to be able to participate in any of these activities. And I ran improv for a little while, and my teacher said to me, hey, you can't do teams this year because there's this whole thing with the union going on, and that was a personal thing, and I was like, wow. Now this is really affecting me.
Yeah, it's just like extracurriculars, and now it's putting all the other students at risk, because there's these students that just come to high school because they love the extracurriculars. There's students that are in grade 12B that come back so they can have a chance at a scholarship for these extracurriculars. And then now with the extracurriculars gone, some people are having trouble because now they can't get math after school. So that's going to affect their grades.
That was a large point I found. Like, after I'm doing a documentary about student voice for Comtech, and so I was like just walking around the people in the protest, and a lot of people were really concerned about Mr. Young not being at school like all hours of the day so they could get math help.
If there's a response, or if you're even looking for a response, I guess it would be exactly the point that I made earlier. This really brings to light all of the great things that staff do in any school. And anything that can be done to repair a relationship so that we can go back to doing those things would be awesome. No coach, no staff advisor, no anybody took lightly the decision to withdraw their participation. Mr. McCollum is a coach. I am a coach. We all participate in these sorts of things, and it was a difficult decision. But when we have so few tools at our disposal of how we can go about having this discussion with the government, a lot of us felt like it was the last straw. It was the only thing we had left.
If the extracurriculars doesn't work, like pulling the extracurriculars and it still doesn't do anything for the bill, what would be the next step? Would this be the last step?
I think I would say again what Mr. McCollum said.
Yeah, Mr. Weigel said earlier, we would probably be reacting to anything additional. I think that we're going to continue to apply pressure and hope that what this does is get other people now to apply pressure. We haven't been able to change the minds of the government as teachers. We're now hoping that students, that parents, that community members that see these things now start to add some of that pressure as well, and hope that this changes. So that's our goal. Quite frankly, I don't know how many other things can be done past this. I mean, I feel like we're at a pretty strong stage right now.
Yeah, the only thing that's left would be what is sort of the worst case scenario, which is the full withdrawal of services. But I mean, I think we're pretty committed to making sure that students earn credits and students graduate. And yeah.
Do you think that the whole situation with the walkout and the union and everything like that has made our community stronger or weaker?
Tough question.
Yeah.
Well, my classroom's just above where everyone was outside, and there was a lot of honking in support of the students. Maybe I'm inside the bubble a bit, but I do feel like Parry Sound High School is a big part of this community, and I'd like to think that students and teachers want the same thing, and all those horns that were honking today were honking in support of that. So I'm hoping that maybe this does bring us together and drive us towards a better place.
Like I walked down for lunch and I had 2 or 3 people asking me if we were walking out today. And something that was really good for us.
Good.
And I think that's the best part of it. Whether stronger or weaker, there will always be people who are on the student side. There will always be people who are on the teacher side. There'll be plenty of people who see that as the same side. But this is the discussion that has to start happening in the community to get people writing letters to their MPPs, phoning, doing whatever it takes in order to get the sides back together so they can talk.
Do you have a question, Keelan?
What could members of the community do to help with this problem?
Contact your local MPP. Obviously, this does have to do with legislation that has been imposed, so it's all going to come down to things that can happen in the legislature. Mr. Norm Miller is our local MPP, who we would often say contact him, express your discontent, and encourage him to get the governing party back into the discussion.
So after you've made the contact, like you've talked to him, then what? What do you do? What can you say to improve the situation?
To somebody like Norm Miller?
Yeah.
I would say, Mr. Miller, I am a high school student at Parry Sound High School. I have recently had extracurriculars stop at my school. I want them back. Please tell the minister to repeal Bill 115.
I'm not sure if this has already been asked, but do you feel that students' opinions, not only in the school system, like the school environment, but in general, are undervalued by, like an example from Bill 115 or in the school in general? Like what students think is best for students. Do you think that goes almost unnoticed?
Do you want to first crack at that?
I'm not going to use the word undervalued,
Okay.
but I will, if I'm honest with myself, I assume most often apathetic. And I guess this has been really nice to see that I'm wrong. That assumption that I made is absolutely wrong, to see the students that are willing to both make a decision to protest, but also to talk to the number of students that found that having to make a decision was tough, that they were engaged enough to realize there was a decision to be made. And so it's refreshing to see that the students aren't what I thought they were.
Undervalued it's kind of a mean word, and I hope that you know, I have to assume that you feel undervalued, which is not the best case. I think the great lesson in this is that, I mean, your generation more than any other has pioneered the use of social media, Facebook, Twitter, and the fact that sort of grassroots movement has brought about this kind of significant movement in students tells me that if students can mobilize a big chunk of a school population, then that same social media push can expand outwards, and then the right people are going to have to start to listen. I think a lot of times people will sort of give students the pat on the head. They're there, we know what's best for you. But I think social media is giving you the voice to say, here is what is best for me. And I think it's awesome that you guys are using that, and I really hope that it goes somewhere and we get an answer.
On that note, do you genuinely, because there are multiple schools across the board and across the province who are doing a walkout today and along this week and even next week, do you genuinely, honestly think that this could make a difference and that this could go somewhere? Like as far as Bill 115, like having Bill 115 repealed goes?
Yes. One word answer, yes. I do honestly believe that it can make a difference.
I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if I didn't think it would make a difference.
Fair enough.
Great. Well, I'd like to thank you all for your time and
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
you.
All right. Thanks. Thank you.